can hear music, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Please start, Prithvi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll start.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I, Ms. Swati Acharya, Program Manager of M.Sc DAN 2020 batch. Welcome you all to the orientation program of M.Sc Dietetics and Applied Nutrition and Master of Hotel Management. Let us begin the event with the blessings of Lord Almighty to help us be optimistic during this time and lead us to the path of health and success.
गाय गणपताय गणपतक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय
Prithvi?
Yes, ma'am.
Swati madam, please continue.
Okay. We would like now to pay our respect and tribute to the founder of Manipal, Dr. TMA Pai, and former chairman of ITC Limited, late Mr. YC Deveshwar.
Communicating with the customer, knowing what every person needs, understanding problems of people he serves. This is what I found a was. He stands tall, he stands tall in the hearts and minds of people in Manipal. Don't say mother, Anant Bhai stands tall. He lives today and will live forevermore. Catering from door to door and easing difficulties, founding banks and colleges in various fields. Establishing this monument of higher education. This is what I found was. He stands tall, he stands tall in the hearts and minds of people in Manipal. Don't say mother, Anant Bhai stands tall. He lives today and will live forevermore. He lives today and will live forevermore.
Late Mr. Deveshwar, YCD, as he was affectionately called, was a business icon of his times. An alumnus of Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, and Harvard Business School, USA, Mr. Deveshwar joined ITC in 1968. He was associated with ITC for 51 years. He was the youngest and longest serving chairman of the frontline conglomerate in India. He headed ITC as chief executive and chairman for 23 years. He firmly believed that sometimes not taking a risk is the biggest risk. He was the man who transformed ITC into a multi-business conglomerate with interests in sectors such as fast-moving consumer goods, hotels, paper and packaging, and agribusiness. Mr. Deveshwar has made ITC synonymous also with luxury hotels, branded apparel and lifestyle retail, agarbattis, packaged foods, and personal care products. Over the last 2 decades with Mr. Deveshwar at the helm, ITC has built 50 big brands and is a brand powerhouse today. Led by Mr. Deveshwar, ITC received significant global and national recognition for its pioneering work in creating sustainable communities as part of efforts to transform rural India. He was conferred upon the Padma Bhushan, one of the highest civilian awards in the country by the Government of India, in recognition of his distinguished service of a high order to the nation in 2011. In 2013, Harvard Business Review ranked him as the 7th best performing CEO in the world. Some of its achievements have been featured as case studies at Harvard Business School. Mr. Deveshwar was a rare example of a man who created a legacy almost no other professional leader of a private enterprise can dream of. We at WGSHA witnessed his prowess during the Silver Jubilee celebrations of WGSHA in 2011.
Countries are built on the foundation of education, and this is an island entirely dedicated to education. And if we had a few more islands like this, then our country would grow even faster and bring laurels to our society.
To quote him, "Youth are the future of the industry, and it is the alumni that bring pride to their alma mater." With heavy hearts, we bid goodbye to him earlier this year. But the pride he brought us will live in our hearts forever.
The architect of Manipal, late Dr. Tonse Madhav Anantpai, a legend, a true visionary, has been a constant source of inspiration, and we are all forever indebted to him. He was a doctor, educationist, banker, and a philanthropist, most well known for building the university town of Manipal, India. The next generation who took over from him, from Dr. TMA Pai, is his son, Dr. Ramdas M. Pai, who is the Chancellor of Manipal Academy of Higher Education. His efforts led to Manipal University getting the status of a deemed university granted by the University Grants Commission in 1993. Manipal Education and Medical Group under his watch has led to exponential growth. The leadership quality runs in the genes, wherein we can see Dr. Ranjan Pai, well-renowned educationist and healthcare baron, who is currently leading the Mahe flagship as president and chairman of Mahe Trust. And you can see the Mahe leadership team with Dr. Ramdas M. Pai and Ranjan Pai are Dr. H.S. Ballal, Pro-Chancellor, Dr. H. Vinod Bhatt, Executive Vice President, Lieutenant General Dr. M.D. Venkatesh, the Vice Chancellor, and we have 4 Pro-VCs, Dr. Datuk Abdul Razak, Dr. Dilip G. Nayak, Dr. Pilan G. Rao as Quality Assurance Pro-VC, and Dr. C. Timaya as Pro-VC for Corporate Academia Engagement. Our Registrar, Dr. Narayan Sabahid, and Dr. Vinod V. Thomas as a Registrar Evaluation. So this is the Mahe leadership team. So WGSHA is a partnership between Dr. TMA Foundation and ITC Limited since 1987. This would not be possible without the efforts of late Mr. Y.C. Deveshwar, Padma Bhushan awardee and former chairman ITC Limited, and by Dr. Ramdas M. Pai, Chancellor, Manipal Academy of Higher Education. Mr. Y.C. Deveshwar believed that the countries are built on the foundation of education. His advice to students was to create value for the society before value for their organization, shareholders, or oneself. He never failed to impress people around him. This is the ITC leadership team where we can see Mr. Sanjeev Puri, Chairman and Managing Director, ITC Limited, Mr. Nakul Anand, Executive Director, ITC Limited, Mr. Anil Chadda, Chief Operating Officer, ITC Hotels, and Mr. Sanjay Bose, Executive Vice President, HR and L&D Hotel Division of ITC Limited. This is the formidable team of leadership from Mahe and ITC who stand like a backbone and strong support system in all our success and endeavors. I now request Dr. Meenakshi Garg, Coordinator, Department of Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, to welcome everyone in today's August gathering.
Thank you so much, Swati. Greetings of the World Food Day, everyone. Namaste, respected Chief Guest of the Day, Major General Retired B.N. Call, Alumni Mr. Parvinder Singh Bual, Mr. Jasdeep Singh, Principal Chef K. Thiru, Vice Principal Mr. P. Rajshekhar, my faculty colleagues, parents, students, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the formal orientation program of the 2020 postgraduate courses of WGSHA, that is M.Sc. Dietetics and Applied Nutrition and Masters in Hotel Management. Manipal Academy of Higher Education is synonymous with excellence in higher education. MAHE is a global knowledge destination celebrating 6 decades in education, educating more than 33,000 students from 67 countries at any given point of time. There are over 356 courses offered in 20 diverse disciplines being taught across 19 institutions and 15 university teaching departments. Now, as an institute of eminence, MAHE's vision is to combine 3 factors: internal growth, external expansion, and consolidation over the next 10 to 15 years with an aim to be in the top 200 universities in the world. Currently, MAHE continues to be the best private university in the country, being ranked number 1 by 3 prominent ranking agencies, The Week, India Today, and Education World. MAHE alumni are making their mark in the world as decision makers, innovators, change agents, thought leaders, and creators, each in their own original way. The Welcome Group Graduate School of Hotel Administration is one of the brightest jewels of MAHE. Ranked number 1 among private hotel management colleges, number 1 among the South Zone hotel management colleges, and number 2 in All India ranking by The Week 2019. Number 1 Supreme Hotel Management College for 11 consecutive years by the GHRDC. Number 1 in the private sector and number 2 among overall top professional colleges in India in Outlook 2019. We are proudly ranked number 26 among the top 50 hospitality and hotel management schools in the world by the CEO World Magazine 2019. The prime purpose of this orientation program is to help new students understand the nature of the university, the educational opportunities available to you, to provide information and awareness necessary to help you acclimatize to university life, to create an atmosphere that minimizes anxiety, promotes positive attitudes, and stimulates an excitement for learning. This is also a time to provide opportunities for students and families to virtually meet the faculty, plus to provide with comprehensive information about the academic and student service resources and programs. It will prepare you for what's to come, what to expect, and how to make the most of these next 2 years. Our chief guest this morning is a very distinguished personality, Major General Retired B.N. Paul, former Chief Administrator of WGSHA. On behalf of the principal, staff, and students, I am very privileged and very happy to welcome you, sir, to today's orientation program for the postgraduate courses in WGSHA. It is always a matter of pride and pleasure to have our alumni reconnect with their alma mater, share their journeys, and motivate the future professionals. A very affectionate welcome to our expert speakers for the day, Mr. Parvinder Singh Bual, General Manager, Taj Falaknuma Palace, Hyderabad from the 8th course of BHM, and Mr. Jasdeep Singh, Group CEO of Care Hospitals Evercare Group India from the 10th course of BHM. I also extend a warm welcome to all our faculty colleagues from MMMC and all constituent colleges of MAHE and external guest and adjunct faculty members. A cordial welcome to our principal, Chef K. Tiruviyana Sambandam, Vice Principal, Mr. P. Rajshekhar, and all my colleagues in WGSHA. Special welcome to all the parents, relatives, siblings, and friends of our freshers. And now, the VIPs of today, the 2020 batches of M.Sc. DAN and MHM. We welcome you wholeheartedly to the WGSHA family and to life in Manipal. The leading resolve in attending a college is to develop to the utmost and for a lifetime the ability to use reason to see clearly. For the next 2 years, you students will hone that ability by, among other things, making your own choices about your own education. The university is a welcome to adulthood, to ambiguity and ambivalence, to the difficulty of making choices responsibly. You will be frequently called upon to choose. For one thing, nobody will now tell you to get out of bed. That's a choice you will have to make every day. And in these times of virtual pedagogy, it will be for you to decide to not just log into your online classes, but to proactively engage in learning. Dear M.Sc Dan and MHM students, congratulations once again on joining the world of education at the Manipal Academy of Higher Education, and thank you for choosing WGSHA for your higher education. Good day, everyone. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, madam. WGSHA has always maintained high standards and has been consistently ranked among the best in the country and remarkable position internationally. Our credits are due to our principal, Chef Thiru, in keeping up the laurels and pride of the institute. He is an accomplished chef, an erudite academician, a conversant leader, and a proficient administrator with 30 years of expertise and experience both in hotel operations and academics. He is adorned as a distinguished member of esteemed Institute of Hospitality London. He possesses several honors and accolades in the field of culinary and hospitality dietetics, like Outstanding Achiever Award 2019, Culinary Educator of the Year 2018 Award, a Cochrane Fellowship Program in Culinary Arts in the year 2016 by USDA. He is also a governing council member of Tourism Hospitality Skill Council of India. I now request our dynamic principal, Chef Thiru, who has always been our pillar of support, to address the new batch of students. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Swati. Ladies and gentlemen, namaste. Chief guest of the day, General V.N. Kaur, Mr. Parvinder Guwal, Mr. Jasdeep Singh, students, parents, and my dear colleagues. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this Masters Orientation Program 2020. First, I would like to congratulate every one of you for securing admission in this prestigious institute. I and my team are privileged to be part of your professional journey. Dear students, WGSHA has sustained and gained its reputation not overnight, but over many years to reach the top. We will continue to pursue this goal with required determination and passion. At this juncture, I would like to mention General Kaur, former Chief Administrator, WGSHA. He had played a significant role in the development of this institute. Under his leadership, WGSHA had achieved several milestones. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to him. Our alumni are great assets to our institute. They play an important role in the growth of our institute. This morning, we have Mr. Parvinder Guwal and Mr. Jasdeep Singh. On behalf of WGSHA, I take this opportunity to acknowledge their contribution to their alma mater. Students, in the past 8 months, the COVID-19 has taught us various life lessons. It has given us various opportunities to rethink so many aspects of our day-to-day lives. One lesson that all of us have learned is that we must always be prepared for uncertainty. You all have witnessed the major transformation that has been happened across the industry. As you have chosen to pursue masters in your career, I would like to give you all certain suggestions with my experience. First, please remember that knowledge and skills, what you will have acquired in the next 2 years, WGSHA is going to be a critical for your career. Be ready to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Book knowledge versus practical knowledge. As a student, it is important for you to know the theory, but when you get into the real world, you will have to be accommodative in taking certain decisions in your profession. Be open to learning different languages and local culture. It is also about treating people with care and affection when you are rendering service. This quality can be amplified when you truly know about their culture and can have a meaningful conversation with them. When you are going to spend time here at WGSHA, please learn about the local culture. India is having innumerable cultures to learn from, and your time here can be well spent learning well. COVID-19 has forced college and schools to adopt online mode of lecturing around the world. Nobody saw this coming. While we always have at these tools, the disruption has proved one point. it is imperative that all of us be adept in utilizing latest technology. Technology has already transformed various industries and it is not going to stop. But you are at an advantage. This industry will always require a human touch. Nonetheless, adaptation is important. With these few words, I would like to wish you all best of luck. Have a wonderful career ahead. Make your parents proud. Jai Hind. Over to you, Swati.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request Dr. Meenakshi Garg, Coordinator, Department of Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, to give an overview of Dietetics and Applied Nutrition course. Over to you, madam.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll start with a quote from Bharat Ratna Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and I quote, "A dream is not what you see while sleeping. It is something that does not let you sleep." I shall now briefly give you a background and overview of the M.Sc Dietetics and Applied Nutrition course at WGSHA. The Department of Dietetics and Applied Nutrition started with the first batch of PG Diploma in Dietetics, which was inaugurated in October 2004 by our Chancellor, Dr. Ramdas M. Pai, and First Lady of Manipal, Mrs. Vasanti R. Pai. This course was started by Major General B.N. Kaul. The course continues as a one-year PG Diploma till 2009. The Academic Senate of MAHE approved the commencement of the 2 years M.Sc Dietetics and Applied Nutrition program in April 2010, and we took in our first regular and lateral batch of students in August 2010 with 24 students. U 2020 batch are the 11th course of M.Sc DAN with 69 students. The 2 years program is spread across 4 semesters with a total of 85 credits. Some of the key highlights of the program include having a robust outcome-based education curriculum, clinical hands-on training in Kasturba Hospital, Manipal, community family health and nutrition care project, and access to observe government nutrition programs implementation on ground. Choice of 11 program and open electives, interdisciplinary and interprofessional research on current trends, specialization in final year in a chosen area of your expertise, privilege to do multiple MOOC courses, and umpteen opportunities to partake in scholarly and co-curricular events and activities in college, MAHE, and outside MAHE. The outcome-based education is an educational theory that bases each part of an educational system around goals. Welcome Group Graduate School of Hotel Administration has taken a huge step and implemented the outcome-based education curriculum starting from the batch of 2019. The curricula of all its programs have been benchmarked to make them current and contemporary in order to meet international standards in tune with the strategic vision of the Manipal Academy of Higher Education. Code of Ethics and Respecting Human Values is an integral part of the course, wherein students are oriented to the code of professional practice, including expectations, beliefs, values, attitudes, and behaviors for a professional level of practice. Our faculty teach from a research-driven base, but also understand the importance of conversion of research into evidence-based nutrition and dietetic practice. Nutrition and dietetics is a vital growing field, and opportunities and possibilities in this field are endless. Diverse job opportunities exist in both the government and the private sector. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics Occupational Outlook Handbook, like many other healthcare professions, the nutritionist employment is expected to grow faster than average. According to the BLS, jobs for dietitians and nutritionists are expected to increase at a rate of 16% up till 2024, while the national average for all occupations rests at 7%. There are a few factors that are contributing to the demand for nutritionists. In recent times, especially COVID, more people have become interested in health, immunity, and wellness, and the role of food. We have a new category of COVID chefs these days. In addition, nutritionists have become necessary to help solve the obesity epidemic and other diseases plaguing the world population. Large and small institutions like public health centers and schools look to nutritionists to help with meal planning and cost savings. Nursing homes are also regularly employing nutritionists as the baby boomer generation ages and enters these facilities. The need for nutritionists and dietitians is thus increasing every day with nutrition transition, sedentary lifestyles, high consumption of fast food, and other food-related health disorders at an all-time high. Budding professionals can thus build a career in a multitude of sectors, example research and development, healthcare, government and non-government organizations, teaching, to name a few. These are a few of our employers that I have listed here across hospital settings, teaching and community nutrition programs, international opportunities that our students have had and are working there. Very proud also to say that some of them are working in the wellness and the nutraceutical sector. You can see the range and diversity of the current employers that we have for all our alumni that have passed from the portals of WGSHA. Also, some thing that I'm very proud to share is that some of our alumni have opted for higher studies. Two have completed PhD from one from Leeds, UK, and one from Mysore University, Karnataka. 5 are currently pursuing PhDs from the Deakin University, Australia, University of Otago, New Zealand, and Mahe. Prateek Pokhrel from the 2012 course bagged the prestigious Erasmus Mundus Excellence Scholarship to pursue higher studies in epidemiology and public health in UK and France, and is subsequently working as a research assistant in INSERM, France. Some have also become successful entrepreneurs, to name just a couple of the most recent ones. A diet and fitness studio cum cafe in Kolkata by Prerna and Sonal. The first nutrition tracker for the Southeast African population, developed as a startup company by one of our alumni, Fred Kigozi. Other events and activities by the department that we hold on a regular and annual basis: Rashtriya Poshan Maha competitions, International E-Conference, Research Methods and SPSS workshops, World Diabetes Day, screening and awareness workshops and seminars, guest lectures and webinars, alumni inspiration webinars, educational trips, local as well as outbound, semester orientation programs, students' participation in intra and inter-university, curricular and co-curricular activities and accolades that they win, student research projects, presentations and conferences, and research forums. In just a small slideshow that we and our students do to ensure quality, contemporary, and continued learning. These are glimpses from the Rashtriya Poshan Maha events that were held last month in September 2020. We also held our first international e-conference on the 23rd and 24th of September, and you can see the gallery of renowned speakers that blessed us with their presence. And we had an online demo by Chef Thiru on local recipes, which was the highlight of the conference. World Diabetes Day is observed at WGSHA every year. We work on the theme that is given by the International Diabetes Federation. We have soft skills lectures. We also had an internship and placement drive by the CGH Earth Wellness Group. This was the semester orientation program for the 3rd semester of M.Sc DAN in August 2020. Again, here we have one of our very eminent alumni, Professor Kinshuk Bhandari, who took a session on time management and analytics of the quadrants of time management. Anganwadi visits and community outreach is something that happens on a continuous basis. Once you arrive on campus, you will be taking part in that. As a part of the family nutrition and healthcare program, education to the families and promoting continued growth and monitoring for children, and educating the families using various means and various education material that is prepared by the students and working in groups is something they do. Ethics regulation sensitization was done for the M.Sc DAN students before they started their master's dissertation research projects. Fitness and exercise session was held. The students took part in an intercollegiate event and they were the overall toppers, as well as they won various events as a part of that competition. Very proud to share that one of our new batch students, Manasi Puranik, took part in the India Smart Protein Innovation Challenge and has cleared the phase 1 and has gone into the 2nd round already. Some other COVID notwithstanding and the lockdown notwithstanding, the students are continuously engaging themselves in taking part in various activities conducted inter-Mahe and intra-Mahe and outside Mahe. These are some of the competitions and awards that have been won, and students' participation in various events that happen within campus also. This is a picture from a field trip for the passing out batch that we had taken them to the DFRL in Mysore and also the Future Food Park. Students recently took part in a series of ISI ICSI International Webinars as a part of Making Education Relevant, Global Confluence of Educators and Motivators. These are pictures of our second year MSc dance students who took part in 3 such webinars across 2020 September. Every year we hold a research methods workshop for students. This is from last year. We have motivational talks, students taking part in various college events. On the right hand corner, you can see bottom is the Onam 2019 picture. International Yoga Day is celebrated in a big way by Mahe. Students took part in various competitions and won various prizes as a part of those events. Finally, from me, I would like to share an alumni speak quote which sums up the Manipal experience in a nutshell. I quote, "It's difficult for me to describe my attachment with Manipal. Those have been the most nurturing years of my life, truly inspiring in all senses. It was a creative and appealing journey wherein my professors and lecturers handheld us in the initiation stages and helped us to explore our strengths and work on our weaknesses. This has given me the confidence to pursue a career in nutrition with compassion and vision to bring in a positive change in the lives of people with great conviction and ethics." I unquote. So class of 2020, have a healthy, happy and academically rewarding 2 years. Good luck and God bless everyone. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I now request Dr. Senthil Kumaran, Coordinator, Department of Allied Hospitality Studies, to give an overview of MHM program. Over to you, sir.
Am I able to see the slide?
Not yet, sir. Yes, sir. Need to put it on slideshow.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I, Dr. Senthil Kumaran, Professor and Course Coordinator of the Department of Allied Hospitality Studies, welcome you once again for the course orientation of postgraduate programs. The presentation on program overview, I'm going to present an program structure, course content, method of content delivery, and the perspectives on career opportunity for the students of MHM program. The curriculum for the MHM is developed in a systematic way to deliver the expected content of the program. It followed the process of initial involvement of faculty and students to develop their dream curriculum, presenting the content to the recruiters, academic experts, and alumni in a national level curriculum conference. Then it has been appraised for its academic vigor through Board of Studies, Academic Council, and the Academic Senate at university. The MHM program consists of mixture of courses that ensure strong theoretical foundation, simultaneously provide opportunity for learners to apply the theories in real business context. In simple, there is a bouquet of courses which ensure the perfect blend of theory and application. The program consists of generic subject, specialization electives, open electives, and industry interactive summer school programs. All the generic and specialization courses are further divided into foundation to advanced courses. Internship component of curriculum provide both short-term and long-term exposure to make the candidates industry ready. While the generic core subject intend to offer an overview of diverse area of management in hospitality industry, the specialization courses ensure the development of core competency in the area of specialization. During the first semester, students have been exposed to foundations of hospitality management through generic courses. Later, when they progress towards second and third semester, they are immersed into their area of specialization through foundation and advanced elective subject. The same is applicable for research method also. A short internship during their summer break and a 6-month long internship summer school program during the 4th semester make the students ready for the industry. The students may also opt for internship and study abroad. In terms of content delivery, the content of the course delivered by module leaders practicing managers, academic experts, and by the adjunct faculty to ensure the holistic learning. As I have mentioned in my previous slides, the content of the program is delivered using a blended method of teaching, balancing the traditional and modern methods of teaching. When it comes to career choice, the program offers extensive skill to the student to run sales and marketing and revenue management divisions of hospitality institutions of any kind independently. Students may also opt for career in teaching, research, and consultancy. I hope I have given that enough overview about the course. I thank you everyone for your support, choice, and the trust with Manipal Academy of Higher Education and WGSHA. Thank you. Over to Swati ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. We are honored to have Major General B.N. Kaul, former Chief Administrator, WGSHA, as our chief guest for today's orientation program. I request Chef Thiru to introduce the chief guest.
Good morning once again. It is my immense pleasure to introduce Major General B.N. Kaul. He is an alumni of National Defence Academy and have a master's in defence studies from Madras University. He has done a course on strategic hospitality leadership from IIM Bangalore and strategic management course from CDM Secunderabad. He has served the country as a paratrooper for 39 years in challenging assignments ranging from northeast to Ladakh sector. He has commanded the prestigious Para Brigade and as a para dropped at all the dropping zones of the country including Ladakh, which is 12,000 feet high. He has earned 2 honors for the exemplary service rendered by him, that is AVSM, Ati Vashishta Seva Medals, and VSM, Vashishta Seva Medal. These awards are conferred on by him by the President of India. After serving the nation in the army, General Kaul chose to education field as his forte. He has spent almost 15 years in shaping the lives of youngsters into responsible citizens. He joined the hotel divisions of ITC and was appointed as the chief administrator of WGSHA. Under the leadership team of General Kaul, the WGSHA achieved great success and became a #1 college in the Hospitality Management Institute for 3 consecutive years, that is from 2006 to 2009. During this time, the college was certified by the ISO. Postgraduate diploma in dietetics was added during his time. He organized many international conferences in collaboration with leading universities like Cornell, USA. He joined Amity University, Rajasthan as the Pro Vice Chancellor of the university. He was also the Director of Business School and Director of Hospitality School. In a matter of 2 years, Amity University, Rajasthan was ranked as #1 private university in northern India. He has been a keynote speaker at various international conferences. He was further elevated to Group Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor and introduced a short military training program for its students. This was primarily to inculcate leadership qualities, discipline, and character building in our youth. He left after 8 years of distinguished service at Amity University. We are humbled and highly privileged to have Major General B.N. Kaul as chief guest for this morning. Over to you, sir. I would like to welcome you to address our master students.
Thank you, Chef Thiru.
Thank you, sir.
Principal Chef Thiru, Mr. Parvinder Singh, to all, General Manager, Falaknuma Palace, Mr. Jasdeep Singh, Chief Operation Officer, Columbia Asia Hospitals Private Limited, distinguished guests, faculty members, master program aspirants, ladies and gentlemen. It is my proud privilege and a pleasure to be here for the Master's Orientation Program. Seeing familiar faces again makes me feel as if I am back home again, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. Thank you, Chef Thiru, for making it possible. I wish to congratulate each one of the aspirants for having secured a seat in this prestigious college. This new phase of your life is going to be very challenging in the sense that you have chosen this path yourself and you alone are going to fulfill it. You will be responsible for taking this boat at the other bank of the river. In this process, you may face storms, scorching heat, rough seas, and many more such impediments. You will have to take appropriate actions to overcome these challenges. Challenges could be varied. For the students who are joining the course on dietetics, the challenge could be in the form of visit to the hospital and witnessing sufferings of patients. Similarly, in the Wellness Institute, you may find difficulty in counseling an arrogant client who wants to reduce but refuses to let go her overeating. Challenges could be in an experience of advising a poor pregnant lady to nutritious diet. Moreover, prescribing a diet for children who are malnourished because their parents cannot afford the basic meal. This empathy is a part of your professional work, being a dietitian. Accept and face the challenge. The basic challenge for the MHM are effective communication skills, which are paramount to your field of work. You should be able to talk with confidence and well modulated with your guests. There is no harm spending some part of your money to improve or your proficiency in English language. It's a question of your career. I'm sure a month or 2 months salary will not pinch you very much, but this is essential because people look for it and they differentiate with how well one has convinced. You should try and find out the habits of your guests. I remember the front office manager at Moria. Some guest walks in and he wishes him by his first name. Hello, sir, Mr. So, how are you? Today is your daughter's birthday. We have done up your room for a little while like this. So how would you feel if you are welcomed in a hotel by your first name and accordingly roomed in? I think that hotel will never leave you because you have made an impression. So these are the small things that you need to take care of. This is also going to be very exciting experience and will empower you for future. You have the opportunity to choose new skills, acquire new knowledge, and enhance your personal attributes, which will equip you for life. At the very outset, you have to have a long-term vision and a clear-cut goal. Tell you a story of a student who took admission here in the BHM course, duly supported by his mother because she was a hotelier herself and wanted the son to join in the same industry. But support of father was not there. He wanted the son to do his BBA, MBA and join the corporate world. The conflict of goals led to the boy leaving the course midway, losing a lot of time as well as money. Once the goal is chosen, half the already done. Half the battle, as I say, is already won. At this stage, you are going to lay the foundation stone of your career. The MHM students can exercise many options. You can choose revenue management by promoting various tourist destinations. This may include temple tourism, medical tourism, adventure tourism, and many, many more. For dietetics, which is the most sought after course of this year, as is seen by the number of admissions, needs to define their specific goals. That will depend on your choice. It could be working in a hospital or in wellness institute or public nutrition areas. Choose the place of work that you are most comfortable at. It could be in the field of sports, pediatrics, disease specific, and public specific areas. Having made your choice, now it is up to you. You have to work hard with full commitment and total passion to realize your ambition. To make a success, you have to take the responsibility for your learning. I'm emphasizing it again. You have to take responsibility for your learning. In a master's program, there is less teaching and more learning. So the teacher is not going to spend 45 minutes of your lecture in the lecture itself, but you will have to spend 35 minutes yourself in learning what you want to learn. Also, you have to realize that you are also, to achieve your goals, other facilities, faculty, library, online, it is for you to make use of it. And that is the change, that lifestyle you're going to have from now on. As I think Dr. Meenakshi was saying, that nobody has to now wake you up in the morning to go to college or go to the class. You have to be responsible yourself for your actions or inactions. Now, in order to give your 100% to any assignment, you got to be happy. I'm not saying feel happy, but I'm saying be happy, because be happy means you have to develop that happiness within you. Master program, as I said earlier, is less teaching and more learning. Believe in yourself and form the habit to reach your goal. Your thought process should generate new ideas and work towards innovation. Now, talking about the innovation, I'm sure the hoteliers would know that many years the concept of the kitchen shifting into the dining room or a restaurant was there. It must be somebody like us. It does not require an Einstein to generate a new idea. It is a simple logic. Now, even in the area at time of pandemic, the hotel industry and the tourism industry, in fact, is doing the innovation. Starting from the aircraft seats have been removed and it is now being used for cargo shifting. So the income still comes, so revenue still comes. Thereafter, these aircrafts have been placed on the tarmac in the parking mode. You can enjoy your dinner there inside the aircraft, while the aircraft does not fly, but you have all the time and the aircraft available for you to have a meal. Then the latest that I've seen in Singapore is, they say, I'm sure it must have been here also in India, is flight to nowhere. Flight to nowhere means it is not going to any destination. You just get inside, have a flight and come back. That's the latest now. And they are working on something like cruise to nowhere. But there they have to take a lot of precautions for the infections, etc. But they are working on it. So these are the small areas where you can innovate on your own. And towards the end, I'd like to share with you my experience of how you can shape your future successfully. At the outset, as I said earlier, you have to identify the specific field of specialization and then fix your goal or fix your aim. Now, this is an exercise which cannot be done or should not be done in a hurry. Deliberate upon it, because this is where everything lies, what you want to do in life and what you want to achieve in life. Discuss with your friends, discuss with your peers, discuss with your neighbors, discuss with your parents, discuss with your teachers. They also know you and they know you better sometimes. And they can tell you that you are not fit for front office, boy. Just too bad you want to go there, but you're not. Whatever the reason, but they'll tell you. And have counsel from good, reliable, trusted friends. And then choose for yourself what you want to do. Having chosen what you want to do, then you start learning on the subjects. The learning has to be continuous and rigorous. This learning is the one which is going to make your base as an individual, how you are looked upon by the others. Whether you are sincere, hardworking, honest, everything is wrapped into one. After learning, in fact, when you learn, you should have become, or you should try to become the authority in that subject. Anybody who says, I want to know something, people should say, now go to so and so, he'll tell you, because they have that much of confidence in that person that he'll be able to give you the correct answer. Having learned or theoretically, you now go down to practice. Practice whatever you learned. There is no point learning in the chair mode or a bench mode. You have to learn on the practical side as well. So your theory as well as practical must be equally strong. Next point is equally important, is that fourth step, as I said, is question. Question means you question everything around you. Who am I? Why I am here? Ask yourself, why are you in WGSHA? What for? What are you going to achieve from here? Keep asking questions to yourself and keep asking questions to everybody. And you might get some answers which may require little more deliberations and your interest and your pursuing. And the last point is to innovate and add value. The critical analysis of the previous step may generate innovative ideas for the future dietitians. I would like to say that empathy is more than 50% of the cure. For the MHM, the value addition could be in the form of various departments, outlets of the hotel. Like I said earlier, that the kitchen has shifted to the restaurant. You have the single lady concepts, single lady floor concepts. You have, I'm not in touch with too much of the latest in the hotel industry, but I'm sure the two eminent hoteliers will tell you what are the latest innovations they take. And I remember that ITC at least had listed 13 innovations in the year that I was here. So they have very innovative, strong. That is where your contribution will come. And one most important thing that I always add at the end of my talk to all my students is to show your gratitude to your parents and family members who are now paying for your higher education. Never forget their sacrifices and guidance. Make them proud of your achievements. Thank you. And I like to wish you all the very best in your life, in your careers, and may every one of you become a shining star. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your such a insightful and motivational information for these young budding professionals. I'm sure they will focus on multi-skilling and they will also open to learn anything which the technology as it when it comes. And I'm sure they're going to do that. And I'm humbled, and on behalf of Team WGSHA, I would like to thank you for your presence. And it's always, we are, happy to see you. As you said that it is your back home, and it's a big motivation for us to see you after a long time. And convey my regards to Madam and family. And we never forget that what you have done to this institute, because with all your blessings and what you have given support, and we learned a lot from you. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to meet you once again after maybe 12 years after 2008. You've been an inspiration for many of us. Sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Thiru. Thank you for your kind words. And
Thank
good luck and best wishes to you. Continue to write and continue to remain as young as you are.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to you, Swati.
Thank you so much, sir. We have amongst us two of our eminent alumni expert speakers with us today. First, we have Mr. Parvinder Singh Buwal, General Manager, Taj Falaknuma Palace, Hyderabad. I request Dr. Vidya Patwardhan to introduce sir.
Am I visible?
Yes, madam, you can continue.
Yes, Vidya, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to introduce the proud alumnus of WGSHA in WGSHA, Mr. Parvinder
Vidya, please check your
Buwal.
headset volume.
Audio
We
check.
can't hear you. Yeah, we
Okay,
can't hear you properly. Yeah, now it's better.
it's better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm pleased to introduce the proud alumnus of WGSHA 8 course BHM, Mr. Parvinder Singh Buwal, a hotelier with 23 years of experience in the best luxury hotels of the Taj Group. Parvinder worked in India and abroad across diverse cultures and economies. At present, he is the general manager of Taj Falaknuma Palace, Hyderabad, which is the royal residence of Nizam VI, restored to bring alive the legacy of the Nizam's era and celebrate culture and heritage of Hyderabad. His hoteliering journey started with Taj Hotels in 1997 and he grew with the company at various capacities. His roles so far included duty manager for 3 years, assistant front office manager for 2 years, front office manager for 4 years, rooms division manager for 2 years, executive assistant manager for 5 years at various properties of Taj in India and abroad. He was also the general manager at Taj Madikeri Resort for 3 years before moving to Hyderabad. His key executive leadership expertise include strategic, operational, and financial business planning, property rebranding, competitive analysis and market development, budgeting, cost control, and profit optimization, team building and development, performance and productivity improvement, quality assurance and customer retention, revenue and yield management, and emergency preparedness and crisis management. Now, in his tenure as a general manager, Falaknuma Palace has won several awards such as FICCI Best Heritage Hotel Award through FICCI Travel and Tourism Excellence Awards 2019, Elite Travelers Adda Indian Fine Dining Restaurant of Taj Falaknuma Palace was among 100 best restaurants in the world listed by Elite Traveler. Condé Nast Travelers Top Restaurant Awards, India's definitive list of the country's 50 finest restaurants by Condé Nast Traveler. Adda ranks 19th best in the list. At present, under his able stewardship, the overall turnover of the property grew from 65.86 crore in 2018-19 to 70.72 crores in 2019-20. Room revenue grew by 7% over last year. Food and beverage revenue grew by 7% over last year. RevPAR grew by 6% from last year, and the list goes on and on and on. Parvinder's biodata is 7 pages long. Apologies if I have not done justice while including the essence of his credentials. Parvinder, I hope I was okay in including the most important aspects. It's pleasure to have you with us, Parvinder, and we welcome you once again, and the screen is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Vidya Patwardhan, for a very, very warm welcome. And I'm really humbled with all the details that you've just listed out about my brief career with the Taj for about 23 years. It's indeed a pleasure to be connected with my alma mater, all of you after such a long time. It's, I think, over 22 years that we are connecting again, and it's my honor to have this opportunity to engage with the future hoteliers, the future tourism professionals, and professionals in the nutrition field, which is rightfully a very, very important field today. And Chef Thiru, Major General Call, Jasdeep, ladies and gentlemen, and the respected members of the faculty, thank you for having me here today. It's indeed a pleasure to connect again with all of you. I'll just share the screen, but before I do that, I just wanted to mention that I'd requested Chef Thiru to kind of give me a sense of the details of the new programs that we're going to be running, and what is the expectation from me when I'm a speaker at this session. And thank you, Chef Thiru, for detailing it out to me, because I really wanted to put my thoughts together and bring out the relevant things that may help the aspirants to kind of do justice when they complete this program. And these 2 years are very, very meaningful. So I appreciate you giving me this background, and I hope that what I have to share with them today really helps them in the way forward. Thank you for having me here. Ladies and gentlemen, what I share today is basically, from my experiences till now. It's been about 23 years, wonderful journey with the Taj. Some of these may resonate very well with you now. Some of them may not resonate now, but as you go forward, you will understand that these things come with experience, and it's important. So what I am putting today is something that some of them I have learned the hard way. Some of them, I had the good fortune of having great mentors who kind of always guided me, and I didn't have to learn those hard way. But request your patience and your patient hearing and understanding that these are extremely important values that will help you, accomplishing whatever best you can. And I hope that this whole half an hour that I have, I'm able to do justice and give you the concepts and the values that I firmly believe in. Some of them I am still practicing. I may not be adept in them, but whatever I'm putting it on the screen for you all today is something that I very firmly believe in. So thank you, and I'll just start with sharing the screen, and I'll talk about the agenda for the day. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So it's a very brief agenda. I'd like to share with you an overview of the Tata Group and the Indian Hotels Company Limited. Taj is a brand of the Indian Hotels Company Limited. Then I'll share with you, I know Dr. Vidya Patwardhan has already shared my journey, but I'll just like to take you through with all the hotels that I worked with, and each of them was a great learning experience. Some key learnings that I had in these 23 years working with these various hotels, which cater to a lot of different segments. And each hotel, as I progressed, every time I thought that I knew it, there was something more to come out of it. So I'll just share those learnings with you. Given the COVID times, a perspective on what's on for hospitality and tourism, and some thoughts for the journey for the aspirants who've joined the WGSHA, which is I think the best place to be in. And I'm very proud to have been associated with WGSHA and WGSHA, which is where my foundation comes from. So So with a 150 years old legacy of the Tata Group, our founder, Sir Jamshedji Nusarwanji Tata, a very firm belief, which I thought I would, want to share with you as quoted by him. So I'll quote that. It's quote, "In a free enterprise, the community is not just another stakeholder in business, but is in fact the very purpose of its existence," unquote. This is the whole premise on which our founder, Sir Jamshedji Narsinghanji Tata, had built the Tata Group. And 66% of our earnings are actually devoted to charity. I'm sharing the screen with you because you will see the relevance of when I present the learnings as to how this is relevant to what I'm talking at the moment. With over about 100+ group companies, with a lot of pioneering spirit. If you see it, from a needle to an airplane, as we say, from a salt to a steel conglomerate, in your daily lives, you will every moment you will actually come across something that is to do with the Tatas. And all of you are you're very familiar, I'm sure, with the Tata Group. We have over 700,000 employees that work for the Tata Group with a $100 billion turnover. And again, the motto, which is very relevant today, which says leadership with trust, is something that, that is an innate value in everybody who works with the Tatas or for the Tatas. As you can see, the various group companies from, of course, the Indian Hotels Company to Land Rover, the Vistara, Tata AIG, Tata Beverages, Tata Sky, Chroma, Tata Steel, Tata Power. Tata Group has a big foray in all these fields that we can think about. Coming to the Indian Hotels Company, the Indian Hotels Company, the first hotel, our flagship hotel, the Taj Mahal, Bombay, which was opened in 1903. And we have over 100 years old legacy with the Indian Hotels Company. This is the first hotel that is in Bombay. The Indian Hotels Company is the South Asia's largest hospitality brand of 115 years of legacy, defined by our values of being visionary, authentic, and passionate. We succeed in crafting delight across our diverse portfolio. Another thing that Indian Hotels is proud to be is that we have created certain destinations on the map, locations like Goa, Kerala, Rajasthan, Coorg, and now Andamans, which are becoming hot favorites with a lot of leisure guests who love to go to these places, and that's where the Indian Hotels had pioneered. So we have 165 hotels in 12 countries. In fact, with a lot of hotels slated to open between this year and next year, the number is going to go up about 200 hotels. We have across 4 continents, 20,000 plus keys, 74 spas, 2 Michelin star restaurants to speak about. And this time we won the 7th consecutive Gallup Great Workplace Award. And I think we're very proud of the fact that, we get the Great Workplace Award, because I think in our industry, the human resource is the most important asset that one has to care for. And of course, 67 of our hotels are awarded with gold certification for the EarthCheck, which means that we are, EarthCheck compliant, and we value nature as much as we do as we value anything else. A little insight into the brand architecture of the Indian Hotels Company Limited. We have the luxury brand of the Taj. I currently work for the Taj Palaces, which is a sub-brand of the luxury. So we have Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces. We have the Selection Hotels, which is a collection of very, very unique hotels that we have in various locations across India right now. We have the upscale hotels, which are branded under the Vivanta. We have Lean Lux Hotels, which is Ginger. We have Expressions, under which we have various offerings like the Ama Home Stays, the Jiva Spas, the food and beverage restaurants, our retail Khazana. Then we have our New and Now, which is very recently opened, which is basically the salons. And of course, last but not the least, the Taj Sats, which provides catering to various airlines. This is one of the sub-brands of the Indian Hotels Company. So that's the brief on the architecture for your reference. So my journey with the Taj started in 1997 after I passed out from the WGSHA. I was a part of the 8th course. I started my career with the Taj Mansingh in New Delhi, which is a very iconic address on the Mansingh Road in Delhi. And I was lucky, fortunate to have this as my starting hotel. There was so much to learn. It's a luxury hotel catering to the corporate segment, very unique and very unique hotel, and caters to high-end luxury business in the town of Delhi. And I spent about 8 years in Taj Mahal, Delhi, and grew up from a position of a front desk associate up to an assistant front office manager. So beautiful learnings associated with this hotel, and we proudly retain this hotel. If anybody of you heard, there was an issue with the lease extension, which is, of course, now in our favor. I moved from there to Taj Palace in New Delhi, which is as a front office manager, and a huge hotel with an inventory that time of about 422 rooms. This hotel catered to 7 different segments, and it was an amazing learning because right from corporates to MICE to socials to crew to transient, every segment was catered to by this hotel, and I had a good fortune to have been able to spend about 2 years here. After that, I got an opportunity to move to our newly acquired hotel in the city of San Francisco. This was the Taj Campton Place, a 110-room luxury boutique hotel right on Union Square. Again, a very, very famous address in the city of San Francisco, whoever's familiar. And I was a part of the opening team of this hotel. And this was initially a culture shock and then a culture learning, a very, very different workplace to be in. And I think this 2 years added a lot of experience to my life, and I'm happy that I got this opportunity right at the right time to see a very, very different facet of how things work in a different part of the globe. A little glimpse of the Union Square. After that, I didn't put it here, but I briefly returned to the Taj Mahal, Delhi as the front office manager for about 2 years, and then from there moved on to the Rambagh Palace as an executive assistant manager. And this was again a very beautiful time with 4 years. This is an authentic palace of the Maharaja of Jaipur at one time, and was converted into a hotel, a palace hotel, and again caters to very, very high-end guests, primarily for leisure, but a lot of some business as well. This is a picture of the facade to share with you, a very, very beautiful hotel. And then I got the opportunity of heading my most favorite hotel. When you start your career as a general manager with a hotel, it is always very close to your heart. Taj Madhikari Resort and Spa Coorg is a very, very different and a unique hotel. It's built in a 180 acres rainforest. Living rainforest, and as you can see from the picture, it's all greenery around, and the beautiful cottages. The expanse of this hotel, located in a rainforest in a remote place. I think my learnings, and this was my first stint as a general manager, I had so much to learn. Back of the house, the engineering parts, the logistics part of how it works, all came from this hotel, and it's a very, very beautiful hotel. If you ever get an opportunity, do make a visit to this place. This is the lobby, an open lobby of that hotel. Again, if you can see that it's got a brilliant view from the open lobby looking into the Western Ghats, and it's an architecture a marvel, to be very honest. And before I proceed, I must tell you that even how this hotel was built was a learning. The owner and the gentleman who built this along with the Taj, envisaged that when he started the hotel that he should be able to complete it within 2 years. But given the challenges of the place, it rains heavily for about 4 to 5 months of the year. It's logistically a little difficult, and especially when it was being built, it was not the most easily accessible hotel. It took him 8 years to build. And when I was when I was in conversation with the parents of the owner, and they said that it was only because of the determination of this one gentleman who said that I'm going to see the light of the day with this project, that this happened, because most of the people thought that it's not going to get completed. So I learned the value of how resilience and hard work and remaining true to your focus is important. And today this is one of the most spoken about and celebrated hotels even within the Taj Group. So a little learning for my fellow colleagues and my the new batch who's aspiring to make it big in the hotel industry or tourism industry. Resilient space. A view from the coffee shop, or as we call the all-day diner of the Taj Madikari. And then, of course, January 2019, I moved to the beautiful, the Taj Falaknuma Palace, again, an original palace, which was for the 6th Nizam. In fact, it was built by the Prime Minister of the Nizam, Sir Vicar ul Umra, and then, internally gifted to the 6th Nizam. And the true living palace, as we refer to it, it still has the most valuable artifacts and paintings, that we house in this palace, and guests can come and touch and feel everything that is there in this palace. And it is indeed my honor and an absolute pleasure to be a part of this palace. And I can't thank the Taj Group of Hotels for giving me this opportunity to spearhead this beautiful palace in the city of Hyderabad. Some views for you to share with you. So that's a brief journey that I've had with the Taj Group of Hotels till now, and I'm going to share with you some key learnings that may help the new members of the WGSHA to make it big. And as I mentioned earlier, these are just some guiding principles that I have personally learned, and may or may not hold true, may or may not resonate, but some of them will start filling in as you grow or as you move into the real world. Some of them may sound a bit cliched, but truly these are things that, the sooner we all learn, the better it is, because they help us succeed faster. So the first thing that I would like to, throw light on is the fact that God is in details. I would, in one of the hotels early in my career, I learned this. The hotel used to rank a little low on, what we generally, the Taj hotels are always looked up at. It was probably 6th or 7th in the city. And then we had a change of senior management in that hotel. And to our amazement, that hotel came up to the #1 position in just about a year and a half. And the only thing the new leader taught us and showed us was that God is in little details. So to share with you, we really started looking into little details, like what are the kind of flowers we are placing. When the pencil is placed on a table, is the logo of of the hotel is facing upwards, or is it not? Is the mood lighting in the lobby correct? In the banqueting table, are the frills ironed? These little details, which till then, nobody had told us, and we kind of didn't even know about it. We were happy that in a very early stage in my career, I learned all that, and I realized that how little things are very, very important for perfection, for making it big. So God is in little details, and I think whatever you do remember this, that little details are very, very important. So do not ignore them. Even if somebody tells you to fold a napkin, it's got to be perfect. And if you put this habit early in life, you will see this will help you in a long way. Human resource, Major General Kaul also had mentioned something about relating with people, relating with guests. I think today, especially in the tourism industry, in the hospitality industry, where it is very, very people and labor intensive, more than IQ today, I think what we look at is EQ. Because if you cannot relate to your team members, if you cannot relate to people as a team, you will, you're not bound to succeed. And I say this from personal experience. We use a term saying different strokes for different folks. If you are able to understand each individual, his strengths, his weaknesses, what is his aspiration, and you're able to treat each person as an individual, the productivity that you can have is you can get miracles done out of the team. And that's been my personal experience, that whenever my bosses have been somebody who treated me like an individual, I was able to do better. And vice versa, whenever I did that with my team members and I treated them as somebody who's a colleague and not somebody who's kind of a junior, and so I can push my way around, I've had miracles in certain of my experiences. So if I think it's a subject that should not be ignored, and if it is not there, I always recommend that EQ is becoming big, and it's very important that all of us try and build on this particular aspect of human resource. So with great humility, I'd like to share that everybody, every individual, whichever field, whichever gender, whichever place, everybody has its shares of highs and lows. I've had mine. I'm sure all of you have had yours. The only thing that I think one should remember that, there is a lot of learning from failure. You may not learn so much from success, but if you really try and, understand back that why did you fail, and you pick up on the learnings, you will thank yourself that you failed. Because sometimes it's important to fail. And similar with me, I've had my lows, and now that I look back in retrospect, I think I've had more learnings whenever I fail than when I simply, because I don't know what made us success, maybe it's the teamwork. But your individual failure, if you take accountability and you're able to look back, you will have multiple learnings. So don't be scared of failing. Don't say that if you've never failed, then there's a problem. That's how I'd like to say it. Yeah, but again, if you don't learn and you keep failing on the same thing, then there is another problem too. So another important thing that I've seen, and this is something from observation and something from maybe my own experience and something from my mentors, is that when you are growing, please remain grounded and be humble. Don't let that success get to your head, because that does a lot of damage, and that growth may stop where it is if you let it get to your head. And likewise, when there are lows, don't lose hope. As I said, it's always a learning. There's always a plan. God has always planned something, even when there is failure, because whatever happens for good. So especially, when you're at that age, a lot of time there's heartburn, and there is, total sense of getting depressed if you don't succeed at an attempt. But don't worry, those are your learnings. And as I said, if you haven't failed, you haven't learned. And look at those learnings. So don't worry about the highs and lows. There will be highs, there will be lows. You cannot avoid them. But don't lose hope, is all I'm going to say. There are learnings. A very important aspect, networking and being social, very, very important for our industry. I may be honestly also saying that this is something that I learned the hard way. I was not the most social and networking individual when I joined the hotels. But now I enjoy it, and it's important. And it's, as you grow, the more networked you are, the more social you are, you tend to learn. You tend to, of course, from a business success point of view, it's important, but more so from your own benefit of your health. It's very important, and I will talk about it when I talk about some learnings for your journey, how this is important. I think Chef Thiru mentioned, that you must learn different cultures and learn from different places. And I think I must admit that traveling is one of the best ways to learn. I have traveled from various, from India to international, and within India from north to south. And, I feel very enriched every time I get into a new place, because there is so much to learn. There is so much to learn from each and every state, each and every community. And as you learn, you realize that you're more enriched to deal with the real world. Especially in hotels, I meet guests from absolutely anywhere in the world, from north to south, from east to west. And if I know something about their culture, the level of confidence that we can exhibit and the kind of engagement that you're able to deliver is far better than when you're only talking about something that you learn from the books. And the true example, as I mentioned, when I had not been to the States, I barely knew, I knew the States and all, but I would not be comfortable discussing the place with a guest who was from the States. And once I was there myself, it was fun talking to them about those places. And that's what all hoteliering is all about. How you make relationship with your guest, how do they come back to you? And, rightfully, like Major General Call mentioned that, when you knew the guest well, he would not leave you. And so this is an important part, both from a business sense and from your own learning experience. So cliche, I'm sure you'll say that everybody says no substitute for hard work, but trust me, there isn't. The only thing I would like to add on is that you also got to be smart when you're working hard. Only hard work may not be enough. And when I say smart, in the real world, sometimes you will come across, not only in the real world, in fact, even when you're probably at the college and you have last minute submissions and exams, you will realize that you will need to prioritize at certain times. You will not be able to justice to everything that you've thought of. And that is where it is important to understand what is priority. Your priority can also be something that, who are you delivering it for? So if for my example, for my case, if I am doing something for a guest, my priority is what does the guest want and not what I think is right. And similarly, when your priority will be is what is the demand of your subject at that point in time and not what you think is right. So work hard, very hard. If you can balance it with good timing, great. But if you are caught in a situation, then work smart and say what is it that you would like to prioritize. And the last point, and I think this is the most important point today, is trust and ethics. And I showed you the two slides in the beginning. And I said, the motto for Tata's is leadership with trust. And today, corporate governance is an absolute important value and an aspect of a good business. Sustenance or a long-term sustenance of any company is highly dependent on these two. So if there is no trust, if the guests or if the customers don't have trust, if there is a lack of ethics, that business is going to die very soon. So just a guiding principle, and I firmly believe in it. And because of this value, I think I am associated with my group for forever, ever since I passed out. And I don't think I can, I can think of a better company when it comes to trust and ethics. So thank you. These are some of the key learnings. There are of course many learnings that I could have shared, but I think from your point of view, these are very, very relevant. And if you feel they resonate well, please make a note, and I'll be happy if they kind of help you in some ways or the other as you go forward in your journey. A very brief perspective on hospitality and tourism, especially given the current times. And when I was speaking to Ms. Vidya Patwardhan, I know that the morale may be a little down with what's happening across the globe. The hospitality is the hardest hit, and there is a need for motivation. So I'll only speak about what I think the perspectives are. And as I said, when there are lows, you learn. So there is nothing to worry about. Yes, it will take time, but things will get back. Why they will get back? We are all social beings. We are all socially connected. So can't be kept off for long. And that's why I firmly believe that it's a matter of time before we get back. In fact, in Taj, we don't say it's social distancing right anymore. We say it's physical distancing, because you can never be socially distant. And being social beings, I think we are already, there are recent research that we keep getting. It says that Asia is already kind of in the mode of recovery in some form. The leisure destination is picking up. Even in Taj, we can see certain of our destinations where it's primarily catering to leisure segment is really coming back in good foray, especially our hotels in Goa, hotels like the one in Bekal and in Coorg. They're doing very well already. The only thing that's going to take time is corporates, but I'm sure once the vaccine is in, the corporates would also like to come back, because trust me, while we are all virtually connected right now, I don't, that energy is missing. I personally feel that if I was there in the college today amongst all of you and doing this in person, I would be far more connected than looking at a screen and talking to, just the names and no pictures. But I guess that's the need of the hour. So we'll live with it till the time things are looking a little more better. Something that I think India can be happy about, there is a lot of domestic travel potential, and that's happening. With affordable income, our country's changed over a period of time, and more Indian guests are now traveling. So much so that when we even consider hotels outside India, we are looking at where the Indians are outbound. That is the strength of the domestic travel of India, and that's not going to reduce. So there is hope. There is a good ray of light there. There's a lot of domestic travel. People want to get out and they want to visit destinations, and India has a lot of potential to do that. In fact, we are hearing the new term called revenge tourism now, which is people just want to get out of their homes and visit, of course taking necessary precautions. So that's something which is very promising. Innovation, I think I'm coming back to this point, which I heard Major General Kaul rightfully talk about it with a lot of energy and a lot of belief. And innovation leads to differentiation, and differentiated products are what the guests are looking for today. What is it that you are different? How are you different? What is it that you have to offer which the others don't offer? And this is the most important thing that is going to be a success factor going forward. In fact, I think in today's world also, that who innovates first gets the first mover advantage, and they're always ahead in the game. Whether it was in a product, it was an Apple product, or at some time it was Nokia. Similarly is for every industry today. Innovation is the backbone. So if all of you can think out of the box and stretch your imaginations to create something which is different, you see a lot of startups coming in. This is going to be the future. Agility and responsiveness is something that I would like to share with you, is extremely important today in today's world, to be agile, and responsiveness is extremely important, because if you do not respond in time, people will go away. The guests will go away. In our industry today, there are times when, gone are the days when guests was okay to wait for a 24-hour or a 48-hour response time, because everybody is connected on their gadgets, and they want it now because the time is of essence. Sometimes guests write to us and they expect that in 15 minutes somebody will acknowledge and respond. So that's something that you have to build in from now. You'll have to practice being immediately being able to respond to situations and being agile. A big factor today when with COVID, hotels were shut down. You may be hearing of a lot of hotels, including ours. We've come up with a concept called Cumin, which is home delivery. Never at a time about a few years back, if somebody had spoken to us about home delivery, we said we were not in that business. But today, this is a backbone. We're delivering food to people's houses in the most hygienic and manner at the time that they like, in the best of the packaging. And this is being agile. We were able to, as a company, come up with this concept and roll it out in 1 month. It is ongoing, and it's such a fabulous response that we are getting. And we've got a Cumin app which is already up and running in Bombay, Bombay, Delhi, Chennai. In Hyderabad, we are already doing cumin. So example of agility, we came up with a package called the 4D package, which means, you dream of a destination, you drive there, you discover, and you delight yourself. And this was a subsidized package that we came up, and today that's what is running for us. So and a lot of other hotel groups, I think even ITC, they're doing home delivery. They have their own home delivery concept that they've come up with. So this is examples of agility. You've got to respond to the changing environment. If you don't do that in time, you're not going to make it. So these two I thought was very important to share with you, that agility is extremely important, and responding in time or before time is going to be another. Business managers, we all, at our level, we are all business managers, but I think how is it changed from what it was? Some may argue that, HODs were always business managers, but the reason I thought this was important to put is because to succeed in your vision as an organization, and taking a case of probably my hotel, if I have to succeed in my aspiration in terms of what I want to get, my financial results and all, I cannot afford only to have my senior management in the hotel to be business managers. Every associate, every team member down the line needs to be a business manager, and they need to understand what is business. Unless our goals are aligned, unless we are all speaking the same language, we will never be able to achieve what we are trying to do. And that's why it's important to understand that everybody today has to be a business manager. It's all about the pluses and the minuses. And I remember we used to have this the finance classes and the statistics classes by Ms. Rao, and some of us wondered why this was relevant to hoteliers, but we truly understand that these are important subjects, and for an overall development, these are very, very important. So thank you for the respected faculty for preparing us for the future. So this is again today I think food and beverage plays an extremely important role. Sometimes so that this is the deciding factor for a lot of our guests as to which hotel to choose and not to choose based on the feedback that they get about the food and beverage. And I think given the change today in the COVID world, food, the immunity, the nutrition, healthy diets, they have and well-traveled guests, and I would say awareness amongst the complete, not at every level, is demanding that the hotels relook at their philosophy or strategy on food and beverage. It is not anymore about how tasty does the food come and the traditional heavy, rich food that we generally cater to, but it's also about how much focus have we laid on the quality of food, the quality of ingredients, as we say, the wellness that comes out of that food that we prepare in terms of nutrition, in terms of immunity, in terms of calorific values, etc. So this is very important, and for all our colleagues who are now getting into the nutrition part of the program, this is why this is very important today. I mean, this is very, very sought after. So you are in the right place. You have picked up a great subject, and and hopefully you should see a lot of success in this going forward. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is experiences. So this is a challenge, the new challenge that we all face in the hospitality industry. There was a time when a lot of people coming to five-star hotels was, was an aspiration, and they would look up to these hotels and say, let us see what's happening new in the market. But today, with the globalization and with affordable incomes, most of the guests probably have traveled more than some of us who are hoteliers. Some of you who's going to get into the hotels, and they know the world better than we do. They know the newer concepts better than we do. So it's not a one-way thing now at the hotels. It's actually become a two-way thing. It's like a communication that happens between us and them. We learn from our guests, and they learn from us sometimes. So it's exciting because there's still everyday learning, and yet it is extremely challenging because your chef would present a food in a certain way, but they'll say, no, this is not the international. This is how I had tried it. So and the second part is that everybody today is looking at experiences versus materialistic benefits. People are traveling for experiences. If you have, you've come up with experiences which are different. Like we said, if you innovate those experiences which are different and you've differentiated, that's where the world will head. That's where your guests will come. So, I just thought I'd share this with you. It's important to look at this aspect. We all want experiences. We all want to live for the time. We want to experience new things. And that's how I think that's also another promising factor, that tourism will always remain, because people want to spend their income in creating memories. They want to spend that money doing good things in life. And that's why hotels and tourism will always be, will always be running and, doing well. My last slide, basically, again, some thoughts for your journey. And as I said, these are I'm not here to dictate these things, but I thought that if I speak about it, some of these may resonate very well with you. And so my first point is on foundation. It's extremely important to have a great foundation, and I think with WGSHA, all of you, congratulations, you are in a great institution, and I will always thank WGSHA and the faculty and for giving me a sound foundation before I ventured into the real world. I still remember the kind of subjects. There was a subject called phonetics. Father Lobo used to do that for us, and I don't think at that time any other college had that subject, if I clearly remember. And we always used to wonder, what is this? And sometimes, there was a bit of a jest that we used to get into, but sorry for that. But now we realize that, as I said, little details matter. And I again go back to Major General Kaul, who mentioned that how you speak, spend some time on and money on your English, and each of this little thing that gets added to your personality somewhere in the life, maybe that little differentiated factor to have you chosen over somebody else. An overall personality development is extremely important, especially in our field. And I think WGSHA does that. It just doesn't concentrate on your theoretics, but it talks about, it does a lot of things that make your foundation very strong. We used to have these lovely formal dinners, I remember, and it gave us such a confidence when we used to sit across the tables, and a batch of our junior batch would serve the senior batch, and it is so relevant. The kind of confidence that will put in you, the kind of personality development that will happen. So foundation is something very important. So I think you got it right, at least to start with, that you've landed up in the best place for a great foundation. Lifestyle. So a few industries can boast of saying that this is a lifestyle, and hoteliering, tourism is a lifestyle. I always share with my colleagues that whether you are in the hotel or you're outside the hotel, you will always need to come across as hoteliers, and we always do that. By default, our subconscious mind, we are always living the life of a hotelier. And there may be a few cons to it. You sometimes always come across as very formal, but there are a lot of pros. And I think, the more nuances you pick up on the lifestyle, the way you dress, the way you speak, the way your body language is, please spend some time on this, because as I said, at some stage of your career or your life, that may be only the differential. You may have another colleague of the same capability or same ability, but the only differentiating factor may be the way you come across, and it's the real world. So it's important to look at these aspects and not ignore them. I have purposely put these three points together because I think they are correlated and very apt in today's world. And I think as hoteliers and as as people in today's world where everything is very fast paced, it's very important to understand that we all need to value time. And when I say value time, I'm not talking about it from just one perspective of saying, okay, devote your time to just studies. And that is the reason the next point, which says keep balance. Time never comes back. There are certain things that are meant to be done at a certain time, and you can't defer them for later. You can't say that I will enjoy this part when I am at this level. And all of us somewhere, maybe we have done that, and today we regret that we didn't value time at the time that it was meant to be. And we talk about today in our world about work-life balance, and I think in everything that we do, a balance is very important. Whether it is devoting time to studies, to sports, to having me time, to having a fun time, all this correlates together to your overall health, your mental health, your physical health. And trust me, if you don't have either of these health, as you grow up the ladder, it just becomes very challenging because the demand will keep going up. The demand of you will keep going up. And if it'll depend upon somebody, doing well will depend on how ably are you able to keep a balance, how ably you're able to do justice to your time. Are you able to discipline yourself? And I said in the beginning that I too aspire for this, and these are some of the things maybe I have learned the hard way, maybe some I heard from my mentors, but for benefit of all of you, I'm sharing them with you. And I'm sure some of you still will learn the hard way because that's how it's destined to be. But I think it's very important to look at these three aspects to be successful. And as I said, overall health is as important as anything else in today's journey to be successful. A very important part that I thought was important to share with you is real growth, and especially when we start our careers. And hotel industry sees a lot of attrition sometimes, and I see a lot of people, a lot of our associates in various hotels jumping from one part to the other just because they were offered a better remuneration. My only humble advice to all of you is that when you are done with your program and while you are doing this program, look at joining a company which doesn't just pay you well. I mean, that should not be the criteria, but look at who's going to grow you. Are you going to get growth? And when I talk about growth, is also a growth as is an overall growth, not growth in terms of just a designation, but a growth in terms of what is the value add-in or a value add-on in terms of your learning, in terms of how much are they ready to invest back in you. And I purposely didn't put it in my slide in the beginning, but with the Taj, not only have I had a good opportunity of working in various hotels, I've had some great learning in terms of exposure to various programs at the cost of the company where they invested back in me. So I was lucky to get a program at the Indian Institute of Bangalore, Indian Institute of Management Bangalore. I've been to the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad. I was a part of the SPJIMR in Bombay. About a few years back, when I was the general manager of Coorg, I got an opportunity to go to the Nanyang University in Singapore. All this was investment back into us by our company, and that's what keeps us motivated, keeps us that feeling that we are still learning and we are growing. So when you choose, whenever the time is right, look at what company is going to grow you further. What company is true to the ethics? What company is a long-term company? And that should be a very important thought. Don't just look at the money. And a lot of people do that. And that's the reason I put this up on my slide saying, that's a gross mistake a lot of people do, and I've seen some people repenting it. Being self-motivated always reminds me of this movie I'm sure all of you have seen, and called Three Idiots, where he talks about the fact that if you enjoy what you do, you're never going to be a job. You're always doing what you like, and you won't require motivation from anybody else. Being self-motivated is an art. It's also something that you enjoy doing. And I hopefully all of you are in the field that you enjoy, and doesn't matter if some of you have landed up into it by chance, but give it time, because you slowly think. As I said, when I started hoteliering, I wasn't the most social, but today that's the most important part of my engagement with guests that I enjoy. So remaining self-motivated is very important. You may not get motivation all the time from others, and you should not be looking for it. Remain self-motivated and focused in what you do. And the last point on my slide is about values. Make sure that your own set of values coincide with where you work or where you study. I've always been a firm believer in values like integrity, trust, ethics, and I'm thankful to God that I am in a company which where the values of which resonate with mine. And ITC, WGSHA, these are great foundation foundation setting institutions that you are all with, and I hope that all of you do extremely well, but do keep these points in mind in your career when you grow. And with that, I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. As I say, and the journey continues. Hopefully, I will have the good fortune of meeting some of you in person when the time is right. And if there's anything I can do anytime, it'll be my pleasure. And I thank the esteemed members of the faculty and Chef Thiru for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with the future hoteliers and professionals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parvinder. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Vidya. Yes, Vidya.
Thank you for the superb presentation, Parvinder. I don't know again whether I will do justice to summarize this or not. You have to tell at the end of it. It was a very in-depth and quite intense presentation. And Parvinder started his presentation about the Tata Group. He started with an anecdote on the Tatas, from a salt to a steel conglomerate. And he highlighted the motto of Tatas, which is leadership with trust. He provided an overview on the entire Tata Group conglomerate and continued with the diverse portfolio of IHCL hotels and its brand architecture. He described his fond memories and rich experience of colorful journey with the Taj Group. Started with Taj Mahal Delhi, Taj Palace Delhi, Taj Campton San Francisco USA, Taj Rambagh Palace Jaipur, Taj Madikeri Resort and Spa Coorg, and his present stay with Taj Falaknuma Palace Hyderabad. He gave a subtle message to the aspirants on the importance of determination and resilience while describing his journey. His key learnings part started with another beautiful anecdote, God is in details. Shared his key learnings of having an eye for detail, human resources, something which is close to my heart as well, emotional quotient. Another thought-provoking anecdote, different strokes for different folks. Learning from mistakes and failures, naturally to have the highs and lows in one's professional life, multi-skilling, networking, and being social, which are very critical for success in hospitality. And he also highlighted the importance of extensive travel, which is one of the best way to learn the nitty-gritties of one's profession. Then he said no substitute for hard work and smart work. And the last and the most important is the aspect of trust and ethics. He provided a perspective on hospitality and tourism, keeping in mind the current scenario. So he said it's the time to learn that we are social beings. It's just a matter of time before we come back. He mentioned about the status of domestic travel today, the need for innovation, which leads to differentiation. How is it important to be agile and responsive? He gave an example of the cumin concept of home delivery of food by the Taj hotels. And he also said every manager is a business manager today. And he also mentioned about the important role of F&B in hotels and experiences versus materialistic benefits in guest experience. And he ended the session with his thoughts on the importance of having a sound foundation, overall personality development, having the right lifestyle for a hotelier, and how we need to value time, maintain work-life balance, which kind of takes care of our overall health, which is mental as well as physical. And a critical focus on the real growth. Is it learning or is it money? Is it remuneration? What is important to you? And he suggested everybody, or he advised everybody to be self-motivated and value driven. He said values, values, and values. Thank you, Pavinder, once again for the impressive sharing of your professional journey.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Beautifully summarizing the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our second alumni expert speaker of the day, Mr. Jasdeep Singh, Group CEO of Care Hospitals, Hyderabad. May I request Mrs. Srilata Rao to introduce the speaker?
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our alumnus from 10th course BHM, Mr. Jasdeep Singh. Jasdeep Singh, till yesterday, functioned as the Chief Operating Officer of Columbia Asia Hospitals, India. In his career spanning 20 years, Jasdeep was associated with Fortis Healthcare Limited for 14 years, where he grew from staff level to leadership role. He also had a short stint at BACC Healthcare Limited as the Chief Executive Officer. Jasdeep is skilled at managing a wide gamut of functions and is a keen planner and strategist, which resulted in acceleration of revenue. He has expertise in managing entire operations with focus on net profitability by leveraging resource utilization and teamwork. He is adept at driving sales and marketing initiatives for growth and increase in market share, and is known to coordinate with all stakeholders for smooth business operations. Jasdeep has demonstrated abilities in streamlining operational effectiveness, administrative processes, and cost efficiency. Jasdeep has proficiency in process redesigning, increasing patient satisfaction by adding efficiency, internal audit and control by effectively standardizing the processes to deliver high degree of service quality. I'm happy to inform all of you that Mr. Jasdeep Singh is taking up his new assignment this month, I think tomorrow, with Evercare Group as the Group CEO of Care Hospitals India. I now request Mr. Jasdeep to address the newly admitted postgraduate students of WGSHA. Over to you, Jasdeep.
Thank you so much, Srilata ma'am, and it's my honor to have been introduced by you because you were one of our very able teachers, and although you might have felt that I didn't learn much then, but I got into businesses, and all the learning has come in handy. And I do want to thank you, Vidya ma'am, and also Chef Thiru for allowing me to share my thoughts and also my experiences with the incoming batch at WGSHA. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. So starting off, I think I'll just give you a brief background on where I come from, because I believe our upbringing, our parents, and our community actually plays a very strong role in who we are and how we shape up as professionals. So I come from a very small town in Jharkhand, although I am a Sikh, and people very quickly assume that ye to Punjab se hoga, but I am not actually. I am from a small town in Jharkhand. It goes by the name of Hazaribagh. It has some geographical relevance. It has the largest mica and coal deposits, as we must have learnt in our books. So from there, how did I land up in Manipal is the question that people usually ask me, because it's almost the other end of the country, from complete east to the down south of the country. Well, that credit goes to my brother. He was actually doing his engineering in Bangalore, and he was the one who found out about WGSHA and Manipal, and he said that and probably he knew that I wasn't going to be a very smart engineer or a doctor, so probably he found that this is an alternate good option that one has, and there is an upcoming field of being in the hotels, and there is this at that time our college was actually in the top 3 institutions, and I'm very proud that it has moved up the ladder and probably seen as the #1 institute in the country. So I got into Manipal, and to say the least, it was a big shock for me, because coming from a small town to a place where there was very little control, so to say. And as Ms. Meenakshi mentioned today in the morning, that you are responsible for what you do, and that's the taste that I got once I landed up in Manipal. There were no restrictions, and one could actually do whatever one pleased. And that was mind-boggling, to say the least, because you were your own administrator. You had to manage your own time, and our college then was quite strict. I don't know about now, but it was strict about how you dressed up and how you landed in the class. And Manipal doesn't have the most congenial of the weathers, as you will know once you're there, and people who are already there know it already. It rains quite a bit, and when we started our session, those were the monsoon months, and it was quite depressing. But the benefit we had was that we had plenty of peers. We had our friends, our colleagues who joined the same course and were from different walks of life. And for me, that has been a big learning, because coming from a very humble background, you get exposed to people who've come from similar backgrounds, from people who come from maybe big cities. So that mixing that happens over there, makes a fantastic cake at the end of it. And that's what I actually experienced in the 3 years that I was there. Education-wise, it's one of the most trained, most adept actually institutes of the country. The teachers that we've had are still there, and I'm very happy to see 2 of them who taught me on this session as well. And we were, they worked very hard with us, and as you will experience that, as students, as people in that age, it's not easy to, get them to study and to learn things. We had very, very strong production chef, our executive chef, Chef Tharakan, who was very strict with us, and I must admit that I was a lousy cook at that point of time, but I have improved. So that's something which I experienced there. And apart from the learning, the other things that you learn are team management, because you work in groups. You also learn how to manage your needs in the limited resources that you have. You also learn to live with what you get. So these are things which WGSHA gives you, which Manipal gives you. And I'm very proud today that I had that experience, and I consider myself very fortunate to have been a part of the WGSHA family. So moving on from there, I wanted to get into hotels. I was very, very passionate, and the year of 1998 and a couple of years after that also, those were very bad years for hotels. And in fact, I wasn't a very bright student, I must admit. And unlike Parvinder, who got into Taj, we didn't get into anything great. And the campus recruitment also was there, but one couldn't get through. So I landed up in a fast food chain. I started my career as a supervisor at one of the fast food chains, which does not exist today, but people who maybe parents of some of the students might remember the chain called Wimpy's in the north of India. So I started with them, and I realized that I needed to skill myself further in order to actually get into the mainstream of business. And that's when I decided to get into an MBA, and I went back to Manipal. And Manipal had just started an MBA program with the Ohio University, and I got into that, and that actually changed the course of my life. And during that time, I did my dissertation with the Manipal group of hospitals in Bangalore. And thankfully, the CEO there actually liked my work and offered me a job to get into hospitals. Every time, even till today, it's been 20 years that I've been with hospitals. Every time I mention that I'm by education, I'm a hotelier, but by experience, I'm a hospital administrator. People look at me and wonder, what went wrong with him. But I'm a happy man, and I think the experiences that I've gained and learned from are amazing, and that's the journey that I started with Manipal group of hospitals. I worked with them for a year. Then with the same CEO, I went to start a new hospital in a different company in Delhi. From there, I went into Fortis. I spent 14 years with Fortis, and as Srilata ma'am mentioned, I started at a very small level as an OPD head for one of the hospitals in the north in Chandigarh. From there, I looked at only experiences, learnings and experiences, not bothering about, how much I was earning. In fact, my wife still blames me that when we got married, I wasn't earning enough. That's where we come from. But today, looking back 20 years, I couldn't have changed anything. I wouldn't want to change anything. It's been a fantastic journey. And all that actually came from the pedigree that I got from, institutions like WGSHA. And I must tell you that as you start your journey, it's very important to focus on the experience. I will not preach about, work hard and, focus on what the teachers are telling you, because I'm sure you will. But there are other experiences which help you in real life when you start working. And that is, how to build camaraderie, how to build respect by giving respect. One of the most important things that we forget is as we grow, is that you have to work with people, and while your growth story is your own personal growth story, how does it matter to anybody else? It's about how you treat them, so don't ever forget how you treat your fellow students, your friends, your teachers, and also your juniors. When we were there, unfortunately, ragging was still allowed in moderation, some of my seniors actually treated me very well. Some of them did not, but I'm still friends with people who did treat me very well. So relationships get built by mutual respect, also helping each other grow. Competition is very good, but it has to have a limit, and I think that is something that you must practice and learn, because there is room for more than one of you. In every field that you're going to get into, there's room for almost everyone. And I always tell my colleagues and my juniors that if I can make it, I'm sure all of you can make it. Because I'm sure my teachers will agree that I wasn't, the brightest of the guys. I was an average student, and I think, it's all about working hard and making sure that, you're gaining from every experience that is there, whether it's a success or a failure. So actually, the hospital journey started with a lot of confusion. Because there are so many departments. You'll be amazed, and I'm sure some of the folks who are joining the nutrition masters would know already that hospitals are complex machinery because we're dealing with lives. And it's not about that we can afford to make some mistakes. So being as complex as it is, we still have to improvise. One of the things that I learned in Fortis, which was actually a path-breaking company as far as hospitals is concerned, is that service quality is extremely important. And I think, my learnings at WGSHA came in very handy, even in hospitals. So we were able to actually create a great experience for patients and their families, even in hospitals. So learning is always useful, and that's something that I practice every day. That hospitality in hospitals is a critical differentiator today. I'm sure most of you have experienced a hospital visit or a stay, and you will realize that you can differentiate between the good and the bad, irrespective of whether the clinical outcomes were the same. So although we go to a hospital for clinical outcomes, but there are experiences that you enjoy and you don't quite enjoy, and you can very easily differentiate between the two. So make sure that your learnings are there. And Parvinder, actually, I must tell you that I had the good fortune of visiting his property in Coorg 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, when we had a company retreat there, and he was the general manager there, and the experience that I had and my colleagues had was out of the world. So he also mentioned about working hard and making sure that you do the right things to get your customers to feel that you care for them. Empathy is something that in hospitals is even more relevant, because emotionally you're already broken, you need some support, you don't like being sick. So for us, it's a big challenge to get the staff to deliver everything with the warmth and the smile and the care that makes the patient feel that I'm in good hands. And that's something which I have a advantage, because I worked in the hospital, I studied in the hospitality sector, and the experiences that I gathered from there. And in the hospital, obviously it's very dynamic today, especially for the folks who are getting into the nutrition post graduation. It's changed. Earlier we used to call them dietitians, and now we've changed the term to clinical nutrition. The difference is not just in the nomenclature, but also the fact that every patient's need is different. So a person who's come with a fracture of the leg does not necessarily need a hospital, a very controlled diet. We can still serve the patient with charts and the Chinese food, because he's well. It's just that he has come with a broken bone, and that doesn't really impact his metabolism or his food preferences. Same goes for in fact, one of the things that I take pride in, which we changed dramatically in our hospitals, was the experience that to-be mothers had when they came for delivery. We organized a celebration dinner for them within the same setup of the hospital, in their room, with a champagne and very nicely 3-course, 4-course meal, along with her husband, and a nurse probably taking care of the baby while they eat comfortably. These are experiences which people remember. So whatever field you get into, it's important to do things with your heart. It's important to also put bring in a new aspect. Our chief guest was mentioning to you that there are things that are happening. Everybody is improvising. Everybody is getting better at what they do, and that's something that you will also have to do. Whether you like it or not, and it's better to actually like it. If you are the one innovating, then you are way ahead of others, and competition will always want you. So from that perspective, I think whether you're in hotels or in hospitals, you will be working. Yes, the environment will not be as fancy as the slides that Parvinder was showing, and that's one of the reasons I didn't put up slides, because hospitals are not a pleasant sight to see. But today, that's also changing. In fact, the company that I was working till yesterday, Columbia Asia Hospitals, has beautiful hospitals. All the hospitals look similar. They were built ground up. So the look and feel is very, very posh. Yeah, so every business actually is improvising, is getting better, just to cater to that extra customer that they can get. So from that perspective, focus on the course that you're doing, but also focus on learning through experiences. Go visit some places where you aspire to be, and learn from what you observe. It's important that you have experiences which you will remember, and experiences are not always great. And Parvinder also mentioned that learn from some of the things that you don't like, because those are more important learnings, and you don't want to repeat them yourself. Yeah. So on the nutrition bit again, we've actually expanded our departments. We've in fact, one of the hospitals that I was leading was the Fortis Memorial Research Institute in Gurgaon, which is the flagship hospital of the company. There we had actually 4 or 5 kitchens, and these were cuisine kitchens. We had an Italian kitchen, we had a Chinese kitchen, we had an Indian kitchen, and a fast food kitchen. And that was a big hit with our patients. So we've kind of merged the hospitality bit in hospitals, and it's not just about care and warmth, but also the food that people eat. And in fact, as in the position that I am in, I look at feedback very, very seriously. And we realized very early in our careers that most of the feedback comes about the non-clinical areas, whether the place was clean, whether the food that was given was warm enough, whether the taste was good, all of that. And that we realized was a big game changer as far as the opinion of the brand was concerned. And we started working on it. And today, wherever I go, whichever organization I'm working with, I emphasize on the fact that the experience that people measure us by must be good. And that's very useful as far as I am concerned. Coming on to the nutrition part of it, I'm sure apart from hospitals, all of us have become very diet conscious, and thanks to people like the Hrithik Roshans and Kareena Kapoors of the world, Rujita Divakar, who's a well-known nutritionist, has become so popular, and I personally like her because she says you can eat whatever you want. I'm a foodie and I love to eat, and it's tough to manage with the exercises and the food that we eat. But the age-old fads are changing. Earlier ghee was considered a fattening agent, and cardiologists would say that don't eat the ghee that you want to eat because it goes and clogs your arteries. But today everybody's saying no, Indian food is something that is built for our bones and our body and the environment that we live in. So enjoy the food that you're eating. Now that confuses you, and that's why we need professionals. And I'm sure that people who are doing the masters in nutrition and dietetics are going to be opinion makers. Be that and bring about that change that you need to bring about. And as far as the master's program of the hotel management program is concerned, I do hold a grudge with the authorities, with the management of WGSHA, that they didn't have this program when we were there. I would have loved to do this and stay in hotels, but I'm very happy for all of you that you have this opportunity, and you are going to be leaders in the industry, and if you choose not to continue in the industry, you will still be a leader because you are learning from the finest. So keep that up, and just I know of time, we are running out of time and we don't have much time, so I'll keep this short. There are a couple of things that I drive my life with. One of the things which also happens to be my my WhatsApp profile picture. It says that you're free to choose, but you're not free from the consequences of your choice. So choose wisely, but you must choose. Risk is something that we must take as business leaders, as leaders who lead people. You must be an example, and a good one. And that's something which will differentiate you from other run-of-the-mill leaders. So just go with your gut, and you'll never be disappointed. If you fail, you'll know exactly where you need to tweak your next attempt. I've always learned from that. I've never hesitated to take tough calls, and I can say that I'm fairly successful. Although there's a long way to go, but I'm very happy with where I am, because I've done what I wanted to do. And this is very off stream that I went, but I'm very happy to actually know that my college still wants me to come and talk to newcomers, which is very comforting, which is very rewarding in its own way. So do that, and enjoy yourself. This is a journey that will unfold a day at a time, and you will cherish it, you will relish it, and you'll make great friends. And today, in fact, 2 years ago, we had a reunion at WGSHA. We finished 20 years of passing out, and we were there. I think we were about 20 plus people. We had a great time. In fact, Manipal has changed so much. When we were there were no malls, there were no Domino's, nothing of that sort. There was only 2-3 restaurants, and those were the ones we couldn't afford to go. In fact, our mess food, since we were from WGSHA, and it's supposed to be great food, was more than decent. Whereas people in MIT and people in the medical college would always crib, and they always said that you guys must be eating great food. And we also, on the lighter note, we also had to eat the food that we cook for ourselves, in the production class, which wasn't a very pleasant experience. But that's like tasting your own medicine. So I do want to end here, and I wish you all the best. And there's a great alumni group that is there. You guys should reach out, any help you need. We will be more than happy to help in whatever capacity we are. And I want to thank Chef Thiru and Srilata Rao ma'am and Vidya ma'am for allowing me to spend some time with you all. It's been a pleasure. All the best to you.
Thank you, Jasdeep. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasdeep.
Okay. Thank you, Jasdeep. I will try to summarize the key points that you had, mentioned in your, advice. Jasdeep started with his humble beginning in his city and his journey to WGSHA, and with WGSHA, whatever he has learned. He recollected his memories in college and remembered his teachers. And he remembered the expectations and the eye for detail that we follow in our college. He mentioned that he started his career at Wimpy's, and we were actually wondering how you went into the hospital scenario. So we got the answer here. He, in order to have a better prospect, he decided to go for MBA, and he did that with the Manipal group itself. And during the industrial training, he took up the industrial training with the project with Manipal hospitals. That was the first time he bumped into the hospital scenario, and his project was well appreciated. And that's when he decided to switch over to hospital scenario, service sector. He said that to the students that relationship are very essential to be built, and it is built on mutual respect. He said that you have to give respect and take respect. That's what he follows, and treat your peers, teachers, juniors with respect. That's his message to the students. And he said that, to get into the hospital administration and do well there, the input that he has received from WGSHA also facilitated him, because we give stress in the all-round development of the student. We stress on management subjects as well, so that has helped him. He said that for the nutrition students, he stressed that one needs to be empathetic towards patients in the hospital. Only when you are empathetic, patients feel that they are in the safe hands. And he said that focus on learning through observations during your visits to the hospital. Please observe and see that you learn from the scenarios, the situations there. He did mention that one should look for the experiences that you can gather rather than remuneration that you will be getting from the hospitals that you work or the concern that you work. And during his tenure, he said that he has taken the feedback of the customers very seriously, because that was actually the game changer, he says. And he advised students to be opinion makers and to be that to bring about the change that you would want to see. And he said that choose wisely and one should take risks, because most of you would be entering into the field of business and one will definitely learn from the mistake one makes so that you will not do it again. So we wholeheartedly thank you, Jasdeep, for taking time, for accepting our invitation to address our new students of the postgraduate course. And we, on behalf of all of us here, we pray and wish that you will have a successful stint at the care hospitals in Hyderabad. All the best for your new venture also.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All the best, Jasdeep.
Thank you, Vidya ma'am. Thank you so much.
All the best, Jasdeep. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shrita madam. As we coming to the end of orientation program, I request Mr. P. Rajshekhar, Vice Principal WGSHA, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Swati. Very good morning to one and all. Distinguished guests of the day, my dear colleagues and students. It's my privilege and honor to have been asked to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. First and foremost, we would like to thank MAHE and ITC leaderships, unstinted support in all our activities. We would like to thank Chief Guest for today, Major General Retired B.N. Kaul, former Chief Administrator of WGSHA, for gracing this occasion and addressing us. Thanks for your motivational words, sir. We express our sincere gratitude to our alumni, Mr. Parvinder Singh Bual, alumnus WGSHA 8th course BHM, General Manager Taj Faluknama Palace, Hyderabad, and Mr. Jasdeep Singh, alumnus WGSHA 10th course BHM, Group CEO Care Hospitals India, for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion and addressing our students. Thank you for your inspiring words. Our sincere thanks to M.Sc DAN and MHM students and parents for attending this orientation program. We must mention our deep sense of gratitude to our beloved Principal Chef Thiru for his able guidance and support. Thank you, Dr. Meenakshi Garg, Coordinator M.Sc Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, and Dr. Senthil Kumaran, Coordinator Department of Allied Hospitality Studies, for giving an overview of the Master's program. Thank you, Dr. Vidya and Mr. Shilata Rao, for introducing and summarizing the speech of our alumni speakers. Thank you, Mrs. Swati, for being the MC for today's event. A big thanks to our IT team headed by Mr. Raghavendra, Mr. Prithvi Roy, and Mr. Sachin for their continuous support. Last but not the least, our sincere thanks to Team WGSHA, our students, faculty coordinators, and staff for their wholehearted support. Thanks one and all. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I once again thank all the speakers and the chief guest of the day, and all the students and parents for participating in the orientation program. So see you all in the new normal virtual world in coming up classes. Goodbye for now. Stay safe, stay healthy. A small note for the M.Sc dance students. Your first class of physiology will be happening in the afternoon. You all have got the notification from the class through Teams. So all the best, all the students.
Thank you, General.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Parvinder
Thank you,
and
pleasure.
Mr. Jasdeep.
Thank you, Chef Zero. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Parvinder and Jasdeep. Sir, please give our regards to ma'am also.
Yeah, we will. I'll do that. Thank you,
Thank you.
Parvinder, and thank you, Jasdeep.